All right, guys, what's good? So I want to make a video about my full supplement protocol that I'm currently using that helps me get my testosterone to over 1,000 nanograms per deciliter naturally, okay? Now, before I started taking these supplements, my testosterone was 361, and now it's 1369, okay? Pop up all my blood work, before and afters, show my LH, SHBG, free testosterone, all of it's gonna pop up here so that you guys can see what's going on, okay? I'm not on TRT, I'm not on Clomid and Clomiphene, I'm not on any of these peptides, I'm not on anything. These are my supplements that I take, all right? I've been fine-tuning this over the last year and a half, 2 years, and this is where we're at now. I'm sure there's gonna be changes and adaptations, but if you guys wanna get over 1,000 testosterone, or at least optimize your levels and get a 200 to 400 nanogram per deciliter increase, this is a great place to begin, okay? So first things first, we have creatine monohydrate. Creatine, pretty staple in my routine, helps with ATP synthesis and slightly elevates DHT, which is like a very androgenic and anabolic hormone. You don't want DHT to get too high because then you're gonna start losing your fucking hair, but that usually only happens when you are on steroids or on TRT. So my hair's intact, everything's fine, so obviously that's not the case for me. But creatine helps with building more muscle, and then it slightly elevates DHT. There's a little bit of cognitive benefits as well, which is important to note, but primarily the reason that I use this is for building more muscle. There's some minuscule testosterone benefits, but first one we got is creatine. Next, we have ashwagandha. Ashwagandha is fantastic. Now, there's conclusive evidence supporting ashwagandha increasing testosterone, and the predominant reason for that is because of cortisol decreasing. Ashwagandha lowers cortisol a lot. I currently take this 500 milligrams per night. I'm gonna basically cycle it because it's an adaptogen, so your body gets used to it relatively quick. 8 weeks, I take it, then we take 4 weeks off, then we can go back on it again so that we can reset the stimulus and the sensitivity to the actual ashwagandha. So 500 milligrams of this before bed, 30 minutes, will lower cortisol drastically, which will help testosterone go up. Because at my recent blood work, my cortisol was very high. It was way above the reference range. So to me, I had to re-add this back into the equation because I stopped taking it for probably 6 months. And now I feel way different, I feel way better. So if you're a high cortisol, high stress individual, you should probably take ashwagandha, okay? So that's the second piece. Next, magnesium glycinate, okay? These two right here are, these two right here are my sleep stack. So pretty much the go-to when it comes to optimizing sleep. If you have bad sleep, which probably most of you do, everyone who I've spoken to at least on like different calls and stuff, tell me that their sleep is not the best and they need to fix that. If you need to fix it, take these two supplements. Magnesium glycinate is amazing. The reason that I take it is to optimize my melatonin production. It is obviously a mineral, but it's a specific isotope of magnesium that really relaxes you and kind of lets you just sink in like to the evening perfectly. And magnesium is essential for testosterone enzyme function, okay? So that's another important piece to note. So I take this right with the ashwagandha 30 minutes before bed, and you should be good to go. And 500 to 600 milligrams, you don't need to cycle this one. It's a mineral that you have in your body. It's not the same as the ashwagandha where you should cycle it, okay? So that's the third one, magnesium glycinate. So next, I just added this to the stack. It's called Maca Root, or Maca Root, however you want to pronounce it. And it's also an adaptogen, which a lot of these are adaptogens. And basically, it's gonna boost libido, it's gonna boost mood, it's gonna boost stamina. It's also gonna lower cortisol. A lot of these supplements that I take are to lower my cortisol because I'm a very high stress individual, just because I also do like day trading and I do a lot of things that spike my cortisol and get me stressed out. So I need certain things to keep me in check. And like I said, if you're a high stress individual, a lot of these are really gonna help with that, okay? So Maca Root, definitely recommend this. It also enhances androgen receptor sensitivity, which is extremely crucial when it comes to synthesizing testosterone and having your testosterone bind on to the androgens and be more effective when you are, moving out on your day-to-day life. And I take this in the morning time while I'm fasted or with my first meal, it's not a fat-soluble mineral, so I typically take it with my Shilajit, which I'll get to after, but that's the Maca Root. Next, we got beef organs, also a Paul Saladino-based product. I do like these two products specifically from him. They're very good. Not sponsored by any regards, but I wanted to shout him out because I like his content. Beef organs, very crucial for getting vitamin A, vitamin B, vitamin K, vitamin C, and also you're gonna get in this, you're gonna get liver, heart, kidney, pancreas, spleen, and a lot of the minerals and vitamins that you're gonna get from beef, like from a cow, you're not getting all of their organs, you're just getting like the muscle, and like that's what the beef essentially is. But like in this, you're gonna get iodine, you're gonna get copper, you're gonna get iron, like a lot of minerals that people are deficient in. And I added this because I don't get this from food typically, because my diet is relatively simple. I just eat eggs, beef, avocados, some fruits. My carbohydrates, besides the fruits, is like maybe rice, and that's really about it. I kind of just stick with that because it works. But like I'm lacking a lot of minerals because I keep it so simple. So that's why my supplement protocol is relatively extensive, okay? But that's why I take the beef organs. So number 6 I take is zinc. Now, this specific isotope of zinc is zinc picolinate. This supports testosterone production directly because it prevents aromatization, which is your conversion of testosterone into estrogen. You don't want testosterone being converted into estrogen, okay? That's a big problem. And aromatization typically happens when you're minerally imbalanced. You have high cortisol, your insulin's messed up, that causes high aromatization. Aromatization also happens when you drink alcohol. So if you've ever, got drunk or whatever, you kind of can feel the negative consequences the next day because you have high aromatization that occurred that night, plus a plethora of other things, but that's one of the things that happens. So zinc is gonna really help on a day-to-day basis, keep you checked, but you do need to cycle this, okay? I'd say 8 weeks, the same thing as the ashwagandha, and then 2 weeks off, and then you can get back on it, because zinc does deplete copper, but that's why we take the beef organs to kind of cancel that out, okay? So that's why we take zinc. Okay, next, this is a very, very important one that I don't see anyone really talking about, but it's vitamin B6, and it's the P5P isotope form, okay? This is the active form of vitamin B6. And the reason it's so important is because it supports dopamine and androgen sensitivity, and it also reduces prolactin. So for those of you who are gooning, you need to be taking something like this to lower your prolactin, because after you goon, prolactin goes up, dopamine goes up, and then it fucks everything up in a long-term basis because it's all gonna come crashing down. But if you still goon, you should take this, which you shouldn't goon, but if you do, take this because it's going to allow you to basically reduce the negative consequences that come from doing that, okay? And the beautiful thing about this is that it synergizes very well with the vitamin B6 and the magnesium. They work synergistically. I take this one with the first meal of my day. Okay, next we have Tongkat Ali. Now this is something that I'm sure a lot of you have heard about. There are studies supporting Tongkat Ali, although contrary to popular belief, people think that there isn't. There is, and I've noticed a significant difference in my testosterone production when taking this versus not taking this. And it is something that if you aren't taking it, your testosterone is gonna go down based on where it was at while you were taking it, like probably by 100 or 200 nanograms per deciliter. The reason it works is because it just increases the LH production in your brain. So the pituitary has your LH, right? Signals that to your testes, to your Leydig cells to produce more testosterone. When you have higher LH, within reason obviously, then you're gonna produce more testosterone. My LH I think was like 6.5 or 6.8, and like the reference range is like between 1 and 8. I obviously wanna get to like 7.5, 8 to be the highest end of the reference range to see where I can like max out. But to Tongkat Ali, when I take it, 100 to 200 nanogram difference. When I don't take it, it's right back down. So that's why we take the Tongkat Ali. Also, forgot to mention, the Tongkat Ali lowers SHBG, which increases your free testosterone, just the active testosterone that you have available in your body. So if you have high SHBG, the Tongkat Ali will help with that tremendously. Okay, next we have Shilajit. Now I take Shilajit which is a mineral resin, and it's rich in different trace minerals, but predominantly fulvic acid is what I want because you're not really getting that from foods, and that's very, very important for testosterone production. It helps a ton. Some studies have shown that Shilajit increases ATP production and also increases total testosterone and free testosterone as well. I typically just take this in the morning because it's a resin. You just use a little spoon and take around 200 to 400 milligrams 5 days a week and then take off the weekends. Also, going back to Tongkat Ali, because I forgot to mention, you should be cycling the Tongkat Ali. Same thing as the Ashwagandha and the, which one was it? The Zinc, okay? 8 weeks on, 4 weeks off. Okay, next, I take black seed oil. Black seed oil is not directly related to testosterone production, but I took it when I was basically like a heavy smoker. I've been taking it ever since. The reason that I take it is because it helps lower oxidative stress, and it also reduces inflammation in the body. And indirectly, if those two things are obviously messed up, then they're gonna indirectly affect your hormones, specifically testosterone, in a negative manner. It also surprisingly improves fasting insulin sensitivity and metabolic function. So if your thyroid's messed up, black seed oil will help with that a little bit. And I take this in the morning or with a fatty meal, like my first meal of the day. Next, we got boron. Boron is something that I actually recently started taking. Now you gotta be careful with boron because it kind of depends on what your SHBG is. That's the only reason why I took this, is because when I had higher SHBG, which is, you know, binding up my free testosterone, I would want to take the boron because that basically, you know, helps mitigate that process from happening so that you have more active free testosterone. And I noticed that if you take too much boron, your SHBG is going to go too low. And you don't want it to go too low because that's going to basically like really put everything out of whack within your bloodstream, and you just don't want that to happen, okay? So take this if you have high SHBG. If you don't, then don't take it. It's not very necessary. But if you do have high SHBG and you want more free testosterone, highly recommend it. A good reference range to be in is between like 22 and 28 nmol per liter, I think it is. So I was like 25 to 26. I started taking it to see how much lower it would get me. It got me to 17. So like that's a pretty big drop, but 17 is a bit too low for my liking. I don't need it to be that low. It's just not necessary. I'd rather be like around 22. Lastly, we got caffeine. So caffeine boosts dopamine and indirectly boosts testosterone on a short-term basis. It boosts focus, your workout intensity because of the dopamine and the focus. And it definitely needs to be cycled because of the adrenal fatigue that's gonna happen, right? When you have adaptogens and things that bind on to and are utilized by the adrenal pathway, you have to cycle them because you just get used to it. Like your body gets used to the stimulant, and if you don't drastically up dosages, then you're not going to feel it the same way that you once felt it initially, okay? So that's why most of these are adaptogens and they go down the adrenal pathway. Make sure that you are cycling these supplements, okay? And when it comes to taking the caffeine, take it like 90 minutes minimum after waking up, or take it pre-workout if it's before 2 p.m. Don't drink coffee otherwise after 2 p.m. Otherwise it's gonna mess up your sleep, which we talked about is very important for increasing testosterone because that's when probably like 70% of your testosterone gets produced, and that's something that you don't wanna mess up. So this is my full supplement protocol. I hope this video helped, and you guys can take what I said and apply it to your own life based on what's necessary and what you guys need to fill in the gaps. If you want more help from me directly, then you can go join my school community or go check it out. It's in the link in the description. Or you can book a call with me directly on my calendar, and we can see if you're a good fit to work with me for coaching. Otherwise, you can watch this next video on screen that YouTube thinks you're gonna like.